What is going on, family? What is happening? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin show. Now, as you know, I've always been calling it the Arrington Gavin podcast, but we're continuing to grow and change up the platform here and there. As you know, we changed up our intro song. We've added an intro video. We keep on growing and growing and growing here on the pod. Show. See, look at me. See, I'm already saying pod right now. But yes, welcome. This is the Arrington Gavin show where we discuss trending news and thought-provoking topics from the fields of politics, sports, pop culture, and so much more. Here and there, I bring on some amazing individuals, just with awesome careers and just inspiring and people that are friends of mine that I've networked in the past, and excited just to bring them on for a great conversation. You see it scrolling at the bottom. Every new episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, 10 a.m. The audio versions via podcast. So wherever you get your podcasts, whether that's iHeartRadio, Spotify, Odyssey, Google, wherever you listen to podcasts, you can tune into the Arrington Gavin show. You can also, if you prefer to watch the video version of this program, you can do so on those exact same days at 5 p.m. on our YouTube channel, R Smooth Club Media, as well as our Smooth Club podcast on Facebook, the Arrington Gavin podcast on Rumble, which will now be changed to the Arrington Gavin show, and also let's see, X, formerly known as Twitter. So our Smooth Club Media on that platform as well. And excited to because I told you I was going to have some good news coming with you forward. I will be working with a local media company, ESPTV. It stands for Ernest Smith Productions. It's a Black-owned streaming channel. You can check it out online at earnestsmithproductions.com, or you can check it out on their Facebook page as well. So as you know, I'm a big advocate when it comes to Black-owned businesses, and really just continue to grow the platform, get in front of more faces and more avenues. So we're very excited to be working with them. Reruns of this show will be airing Saturdays and Sundays at 7 p.m. on that platform, ESPTV. Look, y'all, I'm so excited because I have a dear friend of mine here on the show, Mr. Dapper Luq, Luke Haskett, better known as the Dapper Luq. When I tell you, we go way back when I first started with Rugged Evolution Beard Care, my very first vending show. A gentleman, look, a smooth, cool dude, right? At that time he was still in the military, so he had a baby face. It was him and his daughter, and he came to the table, real nice dude, and just awesome, just awesome spirit. And he introduced himself. He, at that time he had a radio show called the Dapper Hour, and I'm like, oh, dope, because I'm like, I'm here to network. I'm here to continue to get my feet wet. I was still very nervous at the time, but one thing I made sure, hey, presentation was good. So hey, and people come and approach the table and stuff like that. So had a great conversation with Dap, and was a guest on his radio show, and honestly the rest was history. I mean, I've known this guy since then, and Rugged has been going on for almost close to 6 years since then. He's I know he's retired military. He did about, I want to say 22 years in the Navy. I could be wrong, but 22 years in the Navy. Retired. He started his custom clothier for men and women called the Dapper Luq collection, which I am a customer. I kind of lost track. I remember I had my first custom suit from him. Oh man, what else? I had my wedding suit he did, man. I've had probably at least 3 to 4 pieces. I could be wrong, maybe 5. He is an awesome cat, man. He now has 2 locations. I remember when he had his first spot in Virginia Beach, then expanded and has one in Baltimore as well. Just an all-around great dude, man. I mean, he's a radio host, TV host, media personnel, entrepreneur. Again, he served our country, man, and just excited to have him on to really talk about fashion. As you know, I'm an advocate for continuing to uplift, not just the community, not just young people, but also us men, because y'all, it's a lot of you out there that's like, man, I don't want to wear no suit, man. I don't want to wear no tie, man. I'm like, why not, man? I mean, I feel comfortable dressing fresh like this. See, I was dressing kind of sloppy this past week, but I knew since that was on, I'm like, let me get a little fresh. I don't want to, looking raggedy. So so I'm very excited to have that conversation on with Luke. But before I bring him on, let me go ahead and play this clip. I've actually got off of his website, www.dapperluq.com. So just want to make sure y'all remember that. Let me go ahead and pull up that clip before I bring on Mr. Dapper Luq himself. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right. Let me see if you can hear that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, y'all, look, without further ado, let me go ahead and bring on the man of the hour, none other than the one and the only Mr. Dapper Luq. Let me bring him on right here. Dapper Luq, what's going on with you, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I appreciate that intro. It's kind of, you hear folks talking about you. I'm glad you actually remember, the first time we met. Sometimes folks, you try to remember what was the first time I actually met you. But yeah, I definitely remember that, interaction. And like you said, it was a very genuine interaction, and it's led to a very long friendship. So that was a very good. And it's funny because I actually went to that event because a good friend of mine, he was showcasing some art there.
Mm.
And he was like, hey, come by. Because I don't even really come. That was in Hampton. That was on the other side of the water. I don't even really go over there that much. But it was like, I'm doing this event over here. So I happened to go over there. And like you said, met you, young entrepreneur. All right. Black owned. Okay. At the time, I did not have a beard. So yeah, you're right about that. But we do have one now. And
that's right.
It's flourishing, as they would say.
That's absolutely right, man. And I also forgot to mention too, kind of in that intro, Luq is one of the originals of our Smooth Club podcast. So when I first stepped out on this, this media, entity, during the pandemic, and it was a program that I wanted to kind of put together because I'm like, look, I've been so fortunate to network and meet so many great people. And at that time, I'm like, look, we need to have an avenue, a platform for where men of all backgrounds, different age groups need to just sit down and really have just a good conversation, because we have it all the time amongst networking groups and gatherings and things like that. Let's start off something. So yeah, Luq was one of the original. It was myself, my one of my best friends, childhood best friends, Jonathan, I call him JJ, Luq, and Andre Marable, who was the founder of the Pack Travel Club.
Pack. Yeah,
yep.
Pack Travel Club.
And so it was an awesome experience, and you can still catch reruns on on the YouTube channel and audio version that's still up there. And yeah, so it's almost like a little reunion, but I always keep in contact with Luq from time to time, man. But Luq, how is everything going? First and foremost, I know you have roots out in Baltimore, man. Just have to ask, because we all witnessed that terrible the collapse of that bridge out there in Baltimore. Do you happen to have any knew anybody, or is your family okay out there? Or
yes, all of my Baltimore family is good. There are members of my family, either extended family or just via my wife's side of the family, that travel that bridge regularly. I know one of my wife's cousin's husbands drives on that bridge every day to go to work, before it kind of went down. So right now we're in a position where it's definitely slowing down the traffic in the Baltimore area.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the most part, like they've said, it's going to be a very long time before they're able to actually get it back going. The hope, and there's my daughter right there, Sabria. The hope is that at some point they're going to open the channel up, because that's a major channel.
Yeah.
And then from there, just kind of get the bridge back. However they're going to rebuild that. But as they've said, the president has been behind it. He's been backing it. And then for the most part, the mayor and the governor of Maryland have been all over it. So I think they're going to, get it back going, sooner than, we would think. At least that's the hope.
Well, I'm glad. Look, I'm glad everybody's safe and okay out there, man. And it just dawned on me. I'm like, wait a minute, Luke has some a Baltimore tie, so I wanted to definitely ask that. Look, man, let's get it going as far as what your what your journey. As I mentioned, you served our country for over 20 years. I exact on
Yes,
the,
you
was it
got it right.
22?
22
Perfect,
years.
perfect,
Yep.
perfect. Because I was
Absolutely.
bouncing back. I'm like, was it 21 or 22? I think it was 22. So I'm glad I got that right. But man, I want to ask, where did the passion? How did it get started for you as far as like, look, I want to invest and be a part of the fashion world, man? How did that all start
hmm
for you?
So for me, it actually happened about halfway through my naval career. I had got a tour with the Marines. I was Navy, but I did a tour with the Marines, and I was actually in Afghanistan. This is like 2013, right? And actually 2012 going into 2013. And reading books, long deployment. You read a lot of books and just kind of do a lot of self-evaluating, kind of understanding, like, all right, if I make it out of here alive, like, what am I going to do to kind of, make some change or make some impact in my life?
Yeah.
And I actually came across a book by Robert Greene. He
Mhm.
wrote 48 Laws of Power. This particular book is called Mastery. In that book, Mastery, he asks you a pretty, I think, simple question, which is, if money was not an option, what would you be doing?
Mm.
So for me, I was like, wow, well, I've always kind of liked fashion. I've had a passion for that. And so the Dapper Luq, as you understand him, started out as a blogger, right? So this is the early 2010s. Podcasts weren't really a thing back then. So if you wanted to talk about, what your thoughts were and get them out there into the world, it was, you had to have you had to have a blog. That was
Mhm.
our way of expressing it. Either that or you wrote for a magazine, right? I wrote a few magazine articles. I wrote for different online fashion things. So just that was my way to get myself out there and kind of get comfortable in the
Mm.
fashion world. From there, I became a model. Model, I became a stylist, and then stylist, I became a designer.
Mm.
So, just like, I think, similar to what you're doing right now, you just kind of put yourself in the arena, just look around, like, who's making money, who's not. What do I need to actually be a commodity in this industry or in this arena? And just playing around, seeing what do you like, what don't you like. Some people are going to be along for the long journey, some people are going to be along for the short journey. But
Mhm.
you kind of, like you said earlier, we had the original was the Arse Move Club, but we've gone on, now we have the Arrington Gavin show, not the podcast. That's evolved. So it's just part of the process. And then in 2020, when I got out of the military, I said, I'm going to kind of go into this thing full time.
Mm.
So me and my mentor, Clavin Leonard, we actually went to Bangladesh. This was April the 20th. I got out of the Navy January 10th of 2020. January 10th of 2020, I got out of the Navy. January 20th of 2020, he and I flew to Bangladesh. We had designed some suits. We went and met, people that were inside the factories. We met, manufacturers.
Wow.
We were picking out fabrics, and we designed an amazing, 22 suit collection for myself.
Mm.
I think he did something like 15 or 20 suits for himself. And then we brought him back to the US. And then we took them to Algeria for Oran Fashion Week. So this was March of 2020. This is the pandemic was happening.
Wow. Wow.
And then, the pandemic happened, the world shut down. And so I was like, okay, how do I kind of, I guess, pivot a little bit? I can't do fashion shows. I can't maneuver around. So that's when the custom suiting came in, one-on-one.
Mm.
It wasn't like I have a very large inventory. Everything is, made for each individual client. And then, like you said, after about a year and a half, I decided, let me, move to Baltimore. I kind of always had, a desire to do something back home. At the time, I still had kids in high school. So I didn't want to just move to Baltimore, but I had my youngest brother. And,
Mhm.
I knew that I could trust him to kind of run a business for me. And he would be, somebody I could trust and know would listen. And I could still kind of, be over top of him, and it wouldn't be, a personal rift. Some
Gotcha.
people, they don't want you to be their boss, or they don't want you to tell them what to do. For my brother, I feel like he's comfortable with me telling him what to do. He understands my level of knowledge and the fact that, I'm giving him, I've given him the keys to the Ferrari. You own a Dapper Luq custom clothier, house. Like, you can do whatever you want here. So make it your own. He's not as outgoing, there's a lot, as much networking as I do.
Mhm.
Whenever I go up there, whenever I can try to get up there to do bridal shows or networking events or even like parties, I try to do that, make sure I bring him along to kind of see, how to push the brand. because that's the biggest thing with anything that you do. It's not just a matter of, you know, who you know. Sometimes it's who knows you, who can recommend you, and you just got to
Absolutely.
get out there. It's social media is one way, but it's nothing like a face to face, interaction with somebody, especially when you don't want them to, recommend you.
Mm-hmm.
One
Mm-hmm.
of the things I tell people, a lot of times when I go to really big events where it's like big name people, I don't like to walk up to people and just like introduce myself. I like to be introduced by someone that they know. And I feel like it'd
Mm.
be a more genuine connection if someone that they know introduces me to them, by me just walking up to them and just saying, "Hey, I am who I am." They'll probably just be like, "Okay," because not to say that it'll be a negative interaction, but it's just kind of the way I try to operate.
Got
I
you.
like to
Got you.
be
Got you.
introduced to the person if we have a mutual person that we know. I think that helps again with a follow up or even a different connection. It's funny because this past weekend I did the wine expo over in Hampton, right, the
Mm-hmm.
Hampton
Mm-hmm.
Convention Center, and I had about, I'd say, 3 clients in there. And my clients weren't wearing my clothing, but they just happened to be there and they saw me, in my clothing, dressed up. So they were in groups and they were introducing me to their friends. Like, hey, this is the guy that did my tuxedo
Perfect.
for my wedding, or
Perfect.
this is the guy that did her, because I had a female client, I had a male client in there. And today is what, Tuesday? That
Yep.
was Saturday. I've already had one of the guys that was, introduced to me, come to me for a consultation. He's about to put in an order for a wedding tuxedo.
Mm.
So again, I just feel like when someone that they know can recommend you and give you a thumbs up, it just helps with the ease of them kind of coming in and making a purchase, or even just getting a consultation with you.
And look, that saves you money on buying business cards too. I mean, hey, look,
Absolutely.
that's
And what's funny? I didn't even have business cards that day. I was so pissed. I was sharing my contact information via your Apple phone,
mm-hmm.
but you have to literally, the person has to kind of trust you because you have to tell them how to accept your air tag, right? Like your airdrop. You
I
got to tell
can't
them,
stand
hey,
it. It's the hardest thing. I need to work on. I need to because I have an iPhone, but and
uh-huh.
sometimes I'll have business cards. But I'm with you because I'm like, damn, all these business cards. I mean, it fills up my wallet. I can't take. It's like, eh. So and I never done the digital cards because a lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
doing that now because
I
it's
don't like the
very.
digital card, but yeah, but you can do it with your airdrop. Is pretty much the exact same thing. All you do is you have to just make sure that on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
your contact information for you, it's going to say, if you open up your contact, it says my card, right? And that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much your info that you share with someone when you airdrop. Like I said, they have to accept airdrop from everyone. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
usually I have to show them how to do it because they'd be like, "Oh, I don't know how to work my airdrop. How do you work that?" So you just kind of be like, "Hey, open up here, turn that on. All right, I'm going to send you my contact information." So yeah, I did that a few times, and like I said, since then, one of the guys reached out to me. He reached out to me actually on social media. He reached out to me on Instagram. He was like, "Hey, I was the guy that such and such introduced you to, or introduced me to you. Can I come in for a consultation?" I was like, "Absolutely." And like I said, that was Saturday. Tuesday, he came in today for a consultation.
Man,
So
that is so awesome. And look, it's so much I want to kind of like pull in when you were just talking. So
mhm.
for one, I remember you saying you started off as a blogger, and then from
Mhm.
blogger you went to
Model.
model, and then from
Mhm.
model you went to designer.
Stylist.
Oh, excuse me,
Stylist.
stylist, and then from
Mhm.
stylist you went to designer. I think because one thing I always love to impact here on this program is there's people out there that do want to take that risk or that chance and invest in themselves, whether if that's they want to become anything, they want to start their own business, but they're always hesitant, and it's just a matter on okay, really knowing how to strategize this whole business plan, right? What you
Mhm.
did was
Mhm.
you always knew you were good. I feel like you always knew deep down, okay, I'm design is going to be my passion, but how can what's going to help lead me to that direction? I remember I had a guest on who was a journalist, and she just said, hey, look, I started in order to be a great journalist, you have to be a great writer. If you want to be on TV or an anchor, you got to be a great writer. There's certain avenues that will help guide you to that dream spot. So it's best to have the knowledge of like, okay, if this slows down, I can always write, or I can like you said, I can always be a stylist. I can, go to blogging again. So it's very cool how all that stuff led to your dream at being a fashion designer. Another question, kind of backtracking. So Luq as a high school kid, was Luq stylish back in the day, man? Were you like, hey,
Well,
like I
I
had to
wouldn't
go in
say
there?
I was stylish, but I was definitely outside the box, right? So I went to school in
Mm,
Baltimore City,
mm-hmm.
and I was what they consider a preppy kid. I was like, I had polos on, I wore khakis. I shopped at Gap, I shopped at Gant. Gant, I don't even know if it even still exists right here. Was wearing Nautica shirts, polos. So
Okay.
I wasn't wearing them with jeans and tennis shoes. I was literally wearing them with like a nice loafer. Like I was that kid. I was like the preppy kid that went to a city school, even though I grew up and was born and raised in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always kind of had my own fashion sense. I wasn't allowing everyone to be like, oh, you should be wearing this, you should be wearing that. That probably started in high school. Middle school, I definitely was allowing everyone around me to kind of influence what I wore because I was trying to be just like everybody else. I think I started to get my fashion identity, or at least be more willing to wear what I wanted to wear in high school. And just to kind of piggyback on what you just said with those different steps, right? Whenever you get into a room, right, and you are, I tell it, almost like the ESPN experience, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you just won a championship. Everyone's got all the cameras on you, all the microphones on you, and they're asking you all these questions, right? But you had to build up to get into that room, to get those cameras on you, to get those microphones in front of you.
Absolutely
And when
right.
you're in that moment, you have to have something to say that's relevant. If you get up there and you're humming and hawing and I don't know and I guess, and if you're not confident, the cameras are going to go off of you and they're going to focus on someone else.
It's very
So I
true.
say, I say all that to say that these experiences that we're going through, these things that you're trying here, it's giving you a base of knowledge. Everyone wants to be, I have an idea on Friday. I watch a couple YouTube videos Saturday and Sunday, and by Monday I'm the expert. It doesn't work like that. It takes time. It takes messing up. It takes errors. It takes being embarrassed, right? Because then how to be better at it or what you need to do to avoid some pitfalls, right? And you need some
Very
pitfalls,
true.
right?
Very true.
If the entire trip is smooth sailing, you either haven't tried hard enough or you haven't push the limits. There's no way every single experience is going to be a good experience. Everything you try is going to be good. If that's the case, you the luckiest person in the world. It doesn't happen for anybody. So
That's very true. In order to be successful, you have to have your falls. You can't be successful without
absolutely.
your falls because, like you said, what is the learning aspect of it? How did you get to that where you're at now? And I feel like that happens to a lot of people, especially in business, because like you mentioned, you started to really get deep and heavy with your brand during a pandemic period, which was like
Mm-hmm,
how was
mm-hmm.
that mindset too? Because it's like that was a scary time where a lot of people. Well, I always say it was a blessing and a curse for some because you.
Correct.
So
And
how
that's
how was
where
that
I
journey for
think
you?
it's actually, I think it was a kind of a good thing in that that's where you really find out if what you're involved in you like, right? Because it was easy at that time to be like, all right, this ain't working. I'm not making no money. Let me keep going. But
Mm,
fortunately, because of the 22 years of military, I had a nice cushion that I was sitting on financially. I didn't need what I was doing at the moment to feed me and keep my lights on because I had something that was steadily that was doing that. And even to this
hmm.
day, like, the money I make from Dapper Luq, I invest. I'm trying to make sure that, 70-year-old Dapper Luq is not having to work, at a Walmart as a greeter. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm
Seeing
doing.
a Dapper Luq greeter at Walmart is wild right now with the with
The
the
gray
suit up
haired
and
version of me
everything,
with
like
a nice, fitted suit, they're
hat and
gonna be like,
everything.
man, you don't belong in here. But that was one of the things, like I said, I just felt like during that time, you just had the time to just learn and, like I say, mess up,
Yeah.
pivot, financially, pivot business wise, you know, just ask a lot of questions. It was definitely a time to really connect with folks that were, distant, that you hadn't talked to in a while. But yeah, it was definitely a good time to really kind of understand me and what kind of things that I wanted to do moving forward. And it's 4 years later, and I'm still doing it. So I think whatever I did, I was really into it. And it wasn't just a phase or a fly by night, kind of thing. So.
One thing what I admire about the Dapper Luq collection, man, is key thing is just the atmosphere, the service, the experience. Because
Mm-hmm.
one thing you are big on is that one-on-one, which is really
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
feel I don't know if that was like always was that like brought up during the pandemic or that has I feel like that's always been quite a popular thing, but at least for at least for me as I continue to learn when it comes to business, it's like whoa, people always nothing is better than great service, and that's what you get at the
Mhm.
Dapper Luq collection. And that
Thank you.
one-on-one
Thank you.
attention, that one-on-one treatment.
Absolutely.
So I think what you bring really to Hampton Roads too, and that kind of leads me to another kind of topic I want to bring on is how is it when it comes to bringing what's the word I'm looking for? How is it when you're promoting fashion in a area that is really not known for fashion in a sense? If I makes it, because you have like New
Yeah,
York Fashion Week,
so
so
it's
Hampton Roads
funny
is
you
not.
say that, right? This place is not known for fashion, but fashion definitely exists here. But
Mm,
that's kind of why I had to make the pivot to the Dapper Luq custom clothier because, like you said, it did not make sense to strictly focus on fashion, right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Fashion, is New York, Miami, LA, Mulan,
mm-hmm.
Paris. Those are fashion hubs when it comes to fashion shows, things of that nature. They take place all over the place, but the custom suiting and the tuxedos is where it was actually a money opportunity here in Hampton Roads. So that's kind of what I lean towards. I have one question. Is it able to pause for a second for maybe like 5 minutes? Can we do that?
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Let me do. Actually, I'm gonna do a quick commercial break,
okay.
and when we will come back with more, with this awesome conversation with the one and only, Mr. Dapper Luq. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nina.
See.
Gotta put on for my team. Put on for my team, yeah. Gotta put on for my team.
Get ready for the ultimate music competition that will leave you on the edge of your seat.
The full package, where the best of Virginia will battle it out to prove they have what it takes.
Hello, we're your host. I'm Nina Nicole.
And I'm LITS. In this thrilling competition, contestants will face electrifying challenges, testing their musical knowledge, skills, and creativity.
You have one shot to prove you're the full package.
Only the most exceptional performers will rise to the top and claim the title as the full package. Every note,
every move,
every beat counts. Who will have what it takes to become the ultimate music sensation and reign supreme as the full package?
Don't miss the full package, where dreams are made and legends are born. Tune in for the most thrilling music competition of the year.
Coming soon to your screens.
The full package.
This is great. I like the choice and the texture and everything. Right. Mind blowing.
I've never seen talent like this before.
You've got the full package.
What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin show. I tell you one thing, man. Dapper Luq is one of the coolest cats. I hope y'all are impacting a lot of stuff that we're discussing here, because outside of just really fashion, we're really hitting some points when it comes to being a business owner, having your own business, investing in yourself, the journeys, is the right proper steps when it comes to starting a business, because this is not something that you just rush into, like Luke had mentioned before. I think I see um and yeah, so at the matter of fact, when he had mentioned don't rush into something, don't pick up on like, okay, look, I'm gonna do this, let me watch a couple of YouTube videos, let me take a couple of YouTube university courses, and then I'm gonna, oh, I got it, I'm an expert now. It's not like that. And I think we see that happen a lot in our society and everyday life, especially I feel like in like the culinary, like I feel like everybody think they can start a restaurant. And here's why it's always a hit or miss, and it's a hard business to invest in, because yeah, we can all say, such and such is a really good cook in our family, such as a really great cook in our family, but that doesn't mean tomorrow they need to open up a restaurant. That stuff takes time. You have to start checking out your demographic, checking out your location, going over business plans like a name, a LLC, getting trademark. All that stuff occurs, and then just knowing your demographic. I hate seeing, at least black owned businesses too. I hate seeing them, open up and then close at an early period. I mean, it's a sad thing to see, because it's like, oh man, I wish maybe they should have done this and do this or do that, and they haven't. And that's why when it comes to customer service is really, really key. Oh, I think our guest is back. Let me go ahead and bring on the man of the hour, Mr. Dapper Luq. Let me bring him back on. Oh, unmute your mic. There we go. Oh, there we go.
I'm there. All right, I'm back. My apologies.
No worries at all, boss. So we left off about Hampton Roads really not being the hub when it comes to fashion. So how is that process with having very successful custom clothier, and being really an expert when it comes to fashion? How is that process, again, being in the area where Hampton Roads, we ain't really known for fashion like that? How does that go with you?
So for the most part, like you said, you just have to kind of see what's available. I have been to New York. I've done the New Yorks. I've done the DC Fashion Weeks. I've done LA Fashion Week. I've been down to Miami. So I mean, I'm aware of those. I'm, in tune with those. I like to see those. Another really good one is RVA Fashion Week that takes place here up in Richmond. So that's another good one. And you just gotta, if you like fashion, you'll find a way to be a part of it. But financially, the suiting is what actually kind of pays the bills for me. Part of it, I want to do it, but like you said, I also want to make money doing it.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, the art portion of it is not financially, stable here. But being a part of fashion definitely is. I'm going to be doing a fashion event this weekend out at the Signet Center. That's going to be Fete en Blanc, which is an all-white party, Caribbean inspired. They're going to have dancers. They're going to have Caribbean food, Caribbean DJs, live band. So it'd be an opportunity to kind of, showcase my fashion there. And maybe I will get some clientele from that. Every interaction that you do within your industry as you're kind of networking and growing, it's not always going to be a financial one. Sometimes it's making connections or supporting someone else that has helped you along your way. So that's what I try to do. If I can be a part of it, if I can support it in any way, and if we can sprinkle some fashion in there, let's absolutely do it. And that's what I like to do.
Awesome. And I'm gonna keep on going back and forth as far as on like asking the entrepreneur questions to Luke, as well as the fashion. Another business question I would like to ask is, how big of an impact, or has it been an impact for you as far as networking when it comes to promoting your brand? Because one thing that I've learned, and that for people that always say, hey, look, I definitely want to start this, but what's going to be the step-by-step process? And I'm like, look, starting a business is always going to take capital. It's always going to take some money. Absolutely. And sometimes that's not always on your your product or whatever you're going to be doing, but sometimes that's on promotion, because it is so difficult to really you have to spend money to make money, in a sense. Absolutely. How important for you though when it comes to networking? Because I advocate about it all the time, for people. How big?
So for me, what you just mentioned there, right? As far as money, capital is required, right? There's three places to get capital from, right? It's your own personal money or family and friends. Somebody has a savings, some kind of money, they give it to you to help you with your business. But good luck on that, especially if you have an idea that's not proven, or you quote unquote have not been in there long enough, right? And for some people, like, they just don't want to make that kind of commitment. That's okay, right? The next one is going to be through bank, or some type of lender. They're going to loan you the money to kind of get you some capital, right? And the third option is to go public with a company and you have stock owners, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you need capital, but if you are networking, the thing that networking does, it gets you around other individuals that can potentially invest in you, help push you, or even put you in front of an audience that you would not normally be in front of. One of the things I say on social media all the time is I think those that say my names in rooms I've never been in, right? And that's another way to introduce you without you even having to be there. Someone speaking your name, a conversation comes up or something happens that, you can help or be a part of in some kind of way, and they say your name. They don't have to say your name, but and again, that comes through just networking and being in front. So again, a networking, sometimes it's a ripple effect. It's not an instant or instantaneous thing. And one thing with the Dapper Luq, if you see me out and about, I'm probably going to have on something that's Dapper Luq. I sell custom clothing. If I'm not looking as if I sell custom, if I had on a raggedy polo, some lean-in Air Jordans, and I'm like, yeah, I sell custom suits. You're going to be in your mind like, I don't know if I want suits, right? Like, so you have to represent your brand. Like, you Rugged Evolution, if you came through and all you had was a mustache, they'd be like, well, how good are you at it? You know what I'm saying? So again, if you're in certain brands, certain industries, you have to kind of live it. You kind of have to promote it in any way that you can. And, going to wine events, going to networking events, going to events where, I've seen you do events where you'll have, city council members or mayors that are, a part of that or promote that. And those are people that you want to be in rooms with. And again, if you can have someone in that room that introduce you, again, that's another win-win. So that's why I think about networking. It's definitely necessary. Anyone that's successful in any way has done some form of networking. There's no way that you can just sit in a room, no one knows who you are, no one interacts with you, and you can be successful at something. Unless it's like playing video games, I guess. I don't know. If you're gonna do anything, if you want to be a politician, if you want to be a sports personality, like you have to network, you have to get in front of people, you have to talk, you have to be able to speak intelligently about whatever that thing is that you're going to be using to make money or make a living. So it just takes knowledge, it takes being in front of people, it takes being mentored by people that are in the industry that you want to be a part of, because again, it's hard to just walk into an area and already know what you don't know. Right? You need folks that'll be like, hey, have you thought about this? Or maybe you should try this.
Very true.
Folks that have been there, that have done it, that can kind of give you. And that's why I'm really big on, having a mentor or someone that you can reach out to ask questions, whatever industry you're going to be in. Real estate does it. Insurance does it. Why not entrepreneurs, especially those that are going to be in an industry like mine that's very small. You have to have someone that you can reach out to. You kind of have that I'm on an island feel. Right.
Very true.
Mentors are very important, I think.
Very true. Look, man, I gotta ask, because I feel like in the men community, fashion is always like back and forth, right? Like a lot of guys don't express themselves in wearing certain colors or certain styles. I can't stand, because I know people in my inner circle that'll be like, man, I hate wearing ties, or I don't want to. Do we have to dress up in this and that? And it's like, why not? Like the older I get, Luke, I'm starting to really open up my colors, right? Like it's funny because I'll look at my closet and I'll look at my wife's closet and I'm like, babe, you got darker colors than me. And it was the other way around, because I used to be a simple guy, black, gray, blue. Then I opened up to burgundy. Now I'm opening up to green. So it's like, why is it so hard for men to really kind of open up their fashion eye, in a sense?
Well, I mean, for whatever reason, we kind of let society dictate what is, guys should have on. And also, I'm gonna tell you like this, sometimes it's actually kind of difficult to get outside the box, because a lot of your big box stores, your Macy's, your JCPenney, some of those stores, they only keep the black, blue, grays in there, right? Because it's easy to sell. It's easy to say this is what a guy should be wearing. Sometimes to get outside the box, you have to come to a person like me, a custom clothier, or go to a non-traditional store, or even go online. And then for that, you have to kind of be able to do it by yourself. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like you just have to kind of know what's available. Someone is knocking on my door. I apologize. Can you give me a second to just see what's going on?
Take your time. So like Luke had said, y'all, like Luke had said, as far as being more knowledgeable as far as with those groups when it comes to networking. I'm going back to the business side and the power of networking. Don't be anxious, don't be scared to network, because at the end of the day, it's not what you know at some points, is who you know. And that's not just because oh, that means oh, you gonna always get an easy way in. No, but it helps to know a lot of people within certain groups. So like myself, I attend networking groups all the time. I'm a social butterfly. I make sure once I meet you, that's a relationship right there. That's that's going to be a friend for life, because I know, hey, look, he's a awesome dude. He's doing this, and look, a friend of mine might say, well, look, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. Well, let me go up and hit up my networking pal, and then he can refer you over there. I mean, that's all. That's the power when it comes to networking, especially when it comes to business. So just remember, when when you're in the process of starting a business, check these off your boxes when it comes to networking. Even if you are shy, look, I'm a very shy individual, and I know that's kind of crazy because they're like, Arrington, you got your own show, why are you shy? Look, I am a very shy person, but I know there's a power when it comes to networking, and I'm a very sociable person. It does benefit, it does help. Let me bring back our guest, Mr. Dapper Luq.
Hopefully that was
no, it's all good, man. Well, as y'all know, look, Luke has many hats. He's a family man too. He has 3 amazing kids, which I know. Congrats! I think the oldest graduate.
He's going to graduate. He's graduating May 11th.
Awesome.
University in Connecticut. So we'll be up there for that.
Awesome. And then is the other son
as well? TCC.
Bet. Awesome.
My daughter's in elementary school, and my wife and my daughter are away at Taekwondo. We're supposed to be getting a refrigerator delivered. So that's why I keep running. And this is happening. The refrigerator is all dented up, so they can't deliver it. So won't be getting a fridge today.
Oh, darn. But man, well, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so when it comes to men, when it comes to men fashion, trying to remember where we left off.
Yes. So what I was saying, I apologize, is pretty much sometimes to go outside the box, you kind of have to have an awareness of what you want and what else is out there. It's a lot easier to just run to a JC Penney or one of those big kind of, I say, department store brands. What's available is your black, your blue, your gray. That's just easy. It's on the shelf. It's something to grab. They are sometimes going into the greens. Like you said, the suit, one of the suits you got for me was a green, with some burgundy in there as well. But again, that was through a custom clothier. It's hard to find those things in some of the, I guess, off the rack suit stores, your men's warehouses, Brooks Brothers. Again, they think, black, blue, gray. And that's because they mass produce. And it's easier to mass produce those, black, blue, grays than it is to mass produce a bunch of burgundies that people might wear or people might get outside the box and wear.
Absolutely.
Light, you know what I'm saying? Yes, the burgundy.
I had to. One of my favorite suits from the Dapper Luq collection, y'all. So that was a 3-piece. I had the vest, the jacket, the pants, and I always get compliments. I probably overwear it, but guess what? I still accept them compliments. Let me tell you something right there.
And that's a good look.
I had to put that out there.
I know that was getting outside your box initially, so that's why, and that was one of the things that we spoke about, like, hey, let's really push the envelope. And for somebody like you said, right, it's a good conversation starter. I have a suitcase that has African print on it, right? It was done for me by Fanny, who's a Congolese designer who was based here in Virginia Beach. She's now up in North Virginia, Maryland area. But if you're in fashion, right? A lot of times I don't want to go around to everybody like, hey, I'm into fashion. Hey, I'm into fashion. Hey, I do fashion. Hey, guess what? I do fashion, right? So I have this suitcase that literally people will approach me and ask me, oh, is that custom made? And I'm like, yeah, I'm into fashion. So it allows them to start the conversation by me having to say everywhere I go, did I tell y'all I sell suits? I'm into fashion. So it kind of speaks for me and it gets those conversations started. And then I can, hey, here's my card, or this is my website. I've literally had times where I'm on a plane and someone will be like, as we're getting off the plane, hey, what's your Instagram? Or can I follow you on, just the conversation or just that piece that they saw. They want to know more about me, or they want to kind of follow me, and see what I do. So again, you got to kind of have those little things, what I'm saying, that kind of, again, can start a conversation. And I know with you walking into a room with, you know, a plaid burgundy trousers and green. They're like, okay, who is this guy? This guy's gotta be somebody. You're not just walking in here.
I ain't see that, Macy's. What shop he get that from? What rack he get that from?
Yeah, they know off the rip. Okay, this guy, he didn't just pull this out the closet. Like, he thought about this and he put this together. So, you know, it kind of gives you that kind of, you know, one up against everyone else that's standing in the room. So
absolutely.
And the kind of answer, I think something you were leaning towards earlier, right? Why is fashion important? Why is a suit important?
Yeah.
It's important because, again, it puts you in a league where, you know, people kind of look at you, not to say that you need to have it, but it's definitely a nice to have when it comes to being in the right rooms with other professionals. And, you know, even for a young man, you know, if you're, you know, courting a young lady, you know, she's going to have that black dress, or she's going to have an amazing dress, and she's going to want to go out, and you just can't go out there with polo and jeans on and Nikes all the time. And she's going to want you to at least throw a blazer on, maybe have some slacks on, maybe dress it down with the vest. You don't necessarily have to have on a tie. You know, as the months warm up, I definitely don't wear ties. I like to show off my choco meat in a, you know, in a gold chain. You know what I'm saying?
Not the gold
but
chain.
I have a nice blazer on. So just for the wine festival, you know, the picture I took with a couple different people, I had on a white blazer, light blue shirt, blue trousers, and, you know, no tie. So it was a nice, comfortable look. It was indoors.
It's funny, Luke, because the more I think about it, for me, a custom suit is almost like getting a tattoo for me. Once you start with one, it can't be on. You got to keep on going, because it is like, it's not the same anymore. Like just going to a store getting, so it really isn't, and it's an experience. It's almost, y'all, Luke can almost act as my therapist when I'm going to get a suit or a piece from, because I come there not knowing what to, you know, what I want, and that makes it so unique, you know, about, you know, you, Luke, because you know how to really find, what about this, bam, what about this, that's it. Like, it's very difficult to, like,
and that's another thing that separates me from someone that works at a retail store, right? You know, they're going to go grab something off the rack, and then they're going to say, hey, do you want to buy this, or does this catch your eye? For us as a custom clothier, what we're going to have you in does not exist yet. We've got to design it, we've got to make it. And, you know, again, I have to be able, it's funny, my youngest son, Joshua, he's like, that's one of the things that he admires, is the fact that, you know, literally I'm having a conversation with the person, and we're designing a suit, a tuxedo, you know, that doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? So if you have no level of fashion or knowledge, you can't do what I do, right? Because there's nothing there to show a person, right? Other than maybe if they come in, they're like, hey, I like this. But again, you have to understand, you know, fabrics, you have to understand seasons, understand what is in a realm of possibility, what goes together. One of my largest clients is usually grooms, right? So they'll be asking, hey, you know, I want to compliment my lady's dress, but I can't see it. But can you take a look at it? And then you help me pick out my tuxedo based off what her dress looks like. You know, and if I had no knowledge of fashion or things like that, I mean, I'd have these guys going and looking crazy. You know, so, you know, it's important that I have that, and I am confident enough to do that. But again, that took time to get here. I didn't just wake up one day and be like, you know what, I'm gonna start dressing grooms, and I don't care about, you know, what a groom or a bride supposed to look like. I'm just gonna figure it out, right?
That's right.
I would not be one of the number one, you know, tuxedo guys in the area if that was my mentality. So I have to truly understand and truly make those guys feel as though what they're about to put on is going to really make them stand out in their, you know, very special day. You know, in your case as well, like, you know, we talked about what your look was going to be. I have to make sure that it's going to look right, it's going to fit right. And when you walk down that aisle with your lady, you know, you're confident that you are there representing her and yourself well. So that's important.
So true, so true. May I ask, Luke, is it difficult because you create custom clothiers for men and women? Which demographic, which one is easier? Because sometimes I feel as though, like, ladies already know. They already know. Look here, Luke.
So I guess I don't do a lot of women. We are getting into a kind of an era where there are a lot of same-sex marriages. So I've done women that want to wear suits and tuxedos. As a matter of fact, I have a few clients right now that have orders in.
Okay, awesome.
For suits. And then I have some women that, you know, are very, you know, girly women that want to have a nice, you know, what they call a pantsuit or a skirt. Me personally, I like to style women more because I think I have more options when it comes to accessories and just the femininity of a woman. I can do a lot more than I can with the man. But I like to see my guys look good, especially young men. I get a young man for a prom that's never really had a suit or a tuxedo, and he steps out of that, living room. He's got his suit on for the first time, and it's fitting to the nines. Like I love that feeling that I love seeing them have that feeling, and it gives me a feeling as well. Just kind of knowing, okay, we put that together, and this young man is going to represent himself, in a way he has not before, and I'm a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a real good feeling for me. So I mean, go ahead.
Oh no, get to you.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I like to dress both men and women. There's challenges in both. And again, even in front of a woman, I have to be confident that I know what I'm talking about. I have to know how to take her proper measurements and not feel as though it's uncomfortable, right? So being a professional, understanding your craft, and just being confident when you speak to them definitely puts them at ease. A couple of my lady clients, like I just mentioned this past weekend at a wine expo, the young lady who was one of my clients. She's bought several suits from me, right? And she's talking about coming back because, again, I made her feel, comfortable. What we put her in made her look good. She stood out, and they recommend me to people all the time. So
that is awesome. That is awesome. Would you say, as because I consider you a fashion expert, for people, I do, boss, I really do. For those who like to, I don't know, create their own fashion by checking out what's the latest trend from a celebrity, because I'm not gonna lie, there's some celebrities that be wearing some I'm just not me, but a lot of, like, there'll be fashion trends, right? We always have a trend, whether that's quarterly, seasonal, or okay, it's 2024, the new trend is, because I remember when they did the big oversized red shoes or red boots or something. It's just, we have these weird trends. Do you recommend for someone just to say, look, you find your own trend rather than try and copy? I mean, what's kind of like the mindset from you as an expert?
Well, I mean, you can always be inspired by people. I think celebrities can somewhat inspire, right? But they also have to be inspired themselves, right? But this is the one thing I'll say about anything fashion, right? So fashion is a way to tell the world about you without you having to say anything, right? That's one of the beauties of fashion, right? So a lot of times on these red carpets, if you see the NFL players, walk down the tunnels on Sunday, the NBA players, they want to show the world either, I'm a rebel, I'm a risk taker, or, whatever they're trying to express to the world. That's what they're trying to do with their fashion, right? So that's how I think people should approach what they wear and how they dress, right? What do you want the world to think of you or perceive you when they see you out, right? That's what your clothes does for you. So if you want to be seen as somewhat of a rebel, outside the box, or just someone that's carefree, your fashion
people
is
have already made that. Yeah.
Hey, I don't care what I look like, right? You have to let your clothes tell that story. So that's how you should approach fashion and what you wear, right? Some people, like I said, they don't care what people think of them. I personally don't care what you think. However, I want you to be aware that I know what I'm doing when I have these clothes on. So that's what I think you have to approach clothing. So yeah, absolutely. If you see someone out there that's kind of outside the box and you want to be kind of outside the box, take some inspiration. You don't have to be, dressed exactly like them, but just kind of be inspired and kind of maybe take some mental notes. And then when you do come see someone like me or someone that's in a retail position, hey, I've seen this. This is kind of what I like. What can we do to kind of walk down that line? Some people in the retail world are just simply that. They retail. They just want to just sell you something. They're not there
to make that sell. Yep.
Correct. But if you are able to have that conversation, then absolutely do that. And that can be from your partner as well, a family member. Doesn't necessarily have to be a professional, but if you have access to one, absolutely use one. And that is the way I would say, if you're going to be creating your wardrobe or just approaching a new look, what do you want the world to think or know about you without you having to say it? That's
exactly
in what you wear, your fashion, and how you present yourself.
Yeah, because a couple of guys that already just come to mind, professional basketball player, Russell Westbrook. You know, he's always been kind of like that, you know, always trying to make a faster statement during his pre-games. You don't know what to, you know, and it's still, I know there's guys that dress sharp as I don't know what, but Russell, I never can get on it. And then, you know, Cam Newton, right? Because Cam Newton, he grew the hair out. He has the hat collection. So, but it's his style, it's his brand. As far as outside of public figures, I'm thinking of fathers that are trying to, that are, either dressing their sons. So not all, but some like will say, look, I'm team old school Steve Harvey with the 10 buttons. You need this is what you need to wear, son. And it's like it's always difficult trying to make that, I guess, that generational transition when it comes to certain styles. Because like say my father-in-law and I, we dress totally different, but I can never, change that way, because hey, like you said, what you put on, that's how, people would always, depict what. So for me,
and then it's got to be comfortable too. It's got to be definitely comfortable, right? And that's another thing I tell people when I'm, helping them put together something. Like, I can tell you it looks good all day long, but at the end of the day, you have to wear it. You have to be confident in it. So, again, I will answer questions. I will guide you, but ultimately the decision has to be yours, and you've got to wear it with confidence and be comfortable. So that's also important as well. Don't let somebody lead you and say, hey, this is what, which is what you should be wearing, right? But guide them, give them some knowledge of why you think it is, and let them make the decision. For young men, I think you should, like I said earlier, have a suit. It is a piece that I think is timeless. And also to answer one of your questions kind of in regards to styles, right? So the suits now are more traditional fit. There was a time, I'd say a couple years ago, everyone wanted their suits to be tight. They wanted to show off their ankles. Those days are over. Then, like you said, in the early 2000s with LeBron James, everybody had the oversized suits. Like, those days are over. Now it's more of a traditional fit. It's not tight. It's not baggy. It's a comfortable fit.
It's a comfortable fit.
Everything should fit. Like, it's made for you. It shouldn't be hanging off you. It shouldn't be baggy, oversized. The belt should be more of a accent piece by actually holding your pants up. So, just those little elements like that. Definitely utilize accessories, pocket squares, ties, bow ties. Don't be afraid to use them. Watches, rings, definitely. And I think colors, like you said, get into your greens, your earth tones. Don't be afraid to kind of bust those out, especially if you're going to like outdoor events. If you're at an outdoor event, you have a dark color on, you're definitely not representing. You need to have a lighter color, an earth tone, a tan, a light brown, maybe put on a lavender, right? Don't be afraid to look at that lavender. That lavender is amazing. I got a lavender tuxedo, and every time I put that thing on, I get eyes, right? Dark skin, got a beard, and got a little bit of lavender on. Okay. Absolutely.
Look, y'all, said from a true expert. Like I say, he's the fashion guru, my good friend Dapper Luq. Look, Luq, man, what do you have going on? I definitely enjoyed this conversation, man. I want to continue to have you on again. But what do you have going on right now, man? I remember the last time you had a successful season. You started a TV show, Suit Up. With,
that was back in 2021. I have not done that. The production company that helped me do that, they are, I think, moved on to do some other different projects. Okay. I definitely would like to get back into that at some point. I'm not, kind of putting my a stamp on when exactly it's going to happen. But now, definitely seeing clients. That's always a thing. Baltimore and Virginia Beach. Right. I have been associated or either hosting a lot of events, birthday parties, events like that, and we're also doing bridal shows because, again, one of my large client bases is grooms, both male and female. For their tuxedos and suits for their weddings. So that's really the push for me. It's just how can we get in front of the right people, either with the suit on or showcasing that we do suits and tuxedos. So that's really my big. We can always go places and have fun, but at the end of the day, like I always reference The Prestige. It's got Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale, and they're two magicians, right? And in this movie, Christian Bale is perceived as a better magician than Hugh Jackman's character. But Hugh Jackman's character just wants to have this one amazing trick. He just wants to have this trick that no one else has. But Christian Bale's character actually lived his act. There was no change from when he was on stage to when he was off stage. He was the exact same person. Wow. And that's what I want you to kind of see Dapper Luq is. Dapper Luq is not a brand. It's not a label. It's an extension of me. When you see me, you're going to see Dapper Luq. You're going to talk to Dapper Luq. And I live it every day. It's not just me. Let me just throw on a suit. I can just try to sell some suits and hopefully they'll like it. And then when I get out there, I'm going to go put my Jordans on, my T-shirt, and I just go chilling. No, Dapper Luq is Dapper Luq is Dapper Luq. You see me, even in a comfortable setting, I'm probably going to have a polo on. I don't own that many tennis shoes. I do have a few, but, again, I'm a loafer, I'm a slacks, and I'm a blazer kind of guy most of the time. That's what I try to push out whenever I can.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, look, I want to put up your site for our viewers right now. Again, that is www.dapperluq.com. Y'all check it out right now. It's some amazing pieces. Like I said, I've been slacking because I need to get some. I need to re-up, man. I really do. I need to re-up.
We have some nice fabrics. I have a linen, silk, and wool blend. Very lightweight, definitely for them outdoor events. And
see,
definitely
the man says silk. The man says silk. See, silk is really starting to work with me because I have a
silk blend. So it ain't looking
blend.
Silky. It's a silk blend.
Okay. Because if anybody grab me, they ain't gonna like slip.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. Well, I still want to check. I still gotta
look like one of them '90s R&B videos. This ain't that.
Man, well, look, like I said, I still gotta re-up. Luq has done many pieces for me. He's done my wedding suit, man, which it was awesome. It was fit like a glove. And again, y'all, it's the service. The service is dope. He has a location. If you're in the Hampton Roads area, please visit him in Virginia Beach. You can, like I said, go to his website right now. And then, hey, if you're in the Maryland area, if you're in Baltimore, check him out in Baltimore as well. He has great 2 locations, and just continue to support, man. He has an awesome platform. Follow him on social media. His YouTube channel, it shows him at a lot of different events, fashion shows, and everything. He gives his commentary. It's really dope. Luq, I truly appreciate it, boss. You're always welcome here at the Arrington Gavin show. Yeah, man. Again, I just truly thank you, man, because I know you're a busy guy. And best of luck on that refrigerator too, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we'll get it. If not, I'm gonna have to go find a refrigerator on the side of the road or something. But yes, thank you. I appreciate you having me on your show. Wish you the best of luck, much success as you continue your journey. And again, if you need me in any way, please let me know.
I truly appreciate it, boss, man. Take care. Peace and blessings to you and your family.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, family. Look, I hope y'all enjoyed this awesome conversation with my dear friend, Mr. Dapper Luq, okay? Founder of the Dapper Luq collection. All around just awesome guy. And like I said, he's he served our country for 22 years, okay? Served our country for 20. He's a veteran. He's a family man. He's a father. He's a good friend. And he's also a fashion designer, okay? Fashion designer. So I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all got some lessons learned from when it comes to business, being a business owner, and when it comes to fashion as well. Once again, y'all, I'm your guy, Arrington Gavin. Welcome. Well, not welcome, but I hope y'all enjoyed this conversation here on the Arrington Gavin show. I got to keep on getting used to saying that, not the Arrington Gavin podcast, even though it still is a podcast, but we're renaming it to the Arrington Gavin show. So y'all take care. Peace and blessings. I will see y'all next time here on this platform. I'm out.